Welcome back to another episode of Climbing Progress. In this episode, we got some bouldering and top roping. As you can see, we've already jumped into it. Starting off here, we have a pink, what they claim is a V0, but in this gym, I would say they probably rate the hardest out of any climbing gym I've been to personally. Um, I would say they are borderline unfair. And their grading, where I would say I'm a pretty solid V2, maybe someone might argue V3 climber. Um, but here I would say I would top out. I'd be lucky to climb a V2. Um, Even the V1s here are relatively difficult. I would call that a V0 there. This is definitely a V0 here. This is actually a legitimate V0 where we just have a simple ladder up the wall. I'm climbing with a friend here today. You can see his face down on the bottom right there. This white one here, I think you could make the argument that this is a V2. I have a feeling they'd call it a V1, but not 100% sure how exactly they would classify this. I think if this is a V1, it would be kind of a very hard V1. I also might not be used to how slippery their holds are, and maybe I've just been granted like cheap powers because of bouldering projects, super grippy walls and everything. But they definitely are a lot harder graders here than Seattle Bouldering Project. This climb here, pretty solid V1. Honestly, very hard, but it is a good climb where you kind of get this lean back here and then hit that there. It's actually a relatively okay hold. I was a little worried I was just going to hit it and then fall right off. I was able to match it and finish that. Now, bouldering is out of the way. Now we got some 1.5 times sped up top roping here, because I doubt people want to watch just a solid 3 minutes of top roping for a single route. Starting off here, since I was already warmed up, I immediately hopped on a 510C just to kind of like test myself. I really like top roping, and this is by far my favorite. Fortunately, the gym in Seattle I go to does not have that, but eventually I will go to a gym that has top roping at it. But yeah, this red one, very crimpy with the fingers here. Nothing too confusing about it. Going around the corner there initially was probably the most confusing part so far. But at this point right now, I'm more just like feeling like my fingers are kind of like, wow, this hurts like a madman. So I'm climbing and I'm really like putting my I guess my crimp to the test. Where I'm not very good at crimps, but yeah. So right now my fingers are like on fire. I can like barely lock my fingers closed, and I'm able to reach that one there with my right hand. Move my foot over, and then instead of using this top hold here, you'll see me lift my head up here in a second. I'm trying to figure out where to place my foot so I can get a little bit higher up on the wall. I was able to get that. I touched that and I realized, no, I'm just going to use the wall right there. So I grabbed that ledge and then I was able to work my hands up and top out. Up next was this 510C again, this yellow one. This one's actually not very crimpy. It was more like kind of balancing, pulling yourself up. Some of these holds, yeah, were crimps, but for the most part, I preferred this climb over the red one, where this climb focused more on like balance and kind of, more commitment moves, which this is where I kind of thrive on a top rope wall, because I feel I can commit way harder because I know I'm not going to fall and hurt myself because I trust my belay buddy. Here, I'm just working my way up. It's a lot of like I've been saying, like commitment, stand up, pull, and then kind of use right here. I kind of like did a little like almost like a not like a reverse dip, but instead of just like the upward motion of a dip here. Got my hand up a little bit, and then I was able to reach that. Again, it's kind of repetitive, but I do enjoy this form of climbing here. So big step there, and then big pull, hit that one, able to work my way up. Then up here, one more hold, and I felt super good after this. I was able to match that in my hands and done. Then drop down quite a bit to 5.9. So this is a pretty big drop in grade. This purple one is very similar to the yellow one, just a lot easier. My friend that I was climbing with today has not been climbing in quite some time. Probably since January or February of last year, maybe even a little later. But it's been at least 8 months, 9 months since he's climbed. So his arms were kind of dried up. The strength in it dried up pretty fast, but it was really fun to climb with him regardless. This purple one, pretty solid. Just like I said, like the yellow, just a little easier. Pink. Now, I actually think this pink one was harder than the purple one. I remember thinking that during this climb. I was like, this is definitely harder than the purple one. I thought the purple should be rated at a 5.8 and the pink should be rated at a 5.9. But I think I was thinking that because this was my 4th climb in a row. And so at this point, even if this was considered the easiest climb on the wall, my body is getting tired. So especially after doing 2, I would say relatively hard climbs. The ledge was on, or that edge was on there. And I was trying to use it, but every time I kept like reaching out to use it, I was like, it's not really worth it. So then I just use the little holds that are along there. I think that are more meant for footholds. Finally, I reach my hand around and use that pink hold there. I don't know why, but this climbing gym really likes to put similar colors right next to each other. So this pink and red are distinct, but sometimes when you're like trying to quickly look for a hold, they throw you off a little bit. Now, just off to the left of where I was climbing is a much taller wall with this purple one. And this purple one uses one of my favorite types of climbing, which is at least top roping, which is stemming. And, from here, right now you're just kind of climbing directly up the wall. And then stemming is where you take and kind of like press your body, whether it's your legs or your arms, onto like adjacent walls and kind of like press yourself up and use a lot of like multi-wall action to get yourself up the wall. So it's a pretty fun style, in my opinion, which I know not everyone agrees with, but yeah, this was definitely a fun climb here. So just kind of working myself up here. I was asking my friend there when I pointed, is that a purple hold? Because although I just climbed past it, I wasn't paying attention whether or not it was purple. And I realized, oh crap, I don't know if that's a purple hold or not. So he helped me double check on that. I'm able to work my way up here and do another stem move, kind of do a little hand match there with my foot. A little funny side here is the rope kept getting hooked on the GoPro, and so I kept having to like unhook the rope from my GoPro. A little funny. It got a little annoying after it happened for like the 5th time, but that's okay. What I do for my love of climbing. Again, last little bit of stemming right here, and then we are up to the ledge. Now the ledge is on for the purple, and you'll see the tape to kind of denote that here in a little bit. right there. You see the purple tape. Now I could have stood on the ledge and looked out, but I chose to not do that because the window was not open. Because my friend had previously done the climb and said, "Hey, the window's not open." So I was thinking, okay, well, I won't look out of it because you can't really see much. So instead, I just kind of finished up the wall here, able to match and finish off this session with a 5.8. Now, again, just to remind everyone, these are all climbed at a 1.5 times speed. So, you know, I am not this fast of a climber. As much as I wish I was, I'm definitely not. Or else you'd see me in the Olympics in a couple years. But instead, I'm gonna have to wait. But here we go. This brown one, honestly, really simple and actually a really fun climb. Even though it is kind of just like keep climbing up the wall, it's not a ladder where a lot of gyms would have a 5.8 just kind of be a ladder. This was a little more than that. There's a couple side pulls and a little bit of stemming right here. We're kind of using a little bit of both the walls. Again, working my way up here, almost reached the top. And then one more hold and get my feet all set and then reach the top. Oh, and then matched. Tail of the tape. Nothing too exciting here. Yeah, they're 100% success rate. I didn't really try a lot on the bouldering. The top rope, I tried quite a bit, but I have a little more confidence, and top rope climbs seem to be a little bit easier for me in general. But just a really fun session overall. If anyone's in the Santa Cruz area, I highly recommend going to Pacific Edge for any top roping you might want to do. They also have a great lead cave that one day I will eventually lead climb. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. Keep climbing.